Hi everyone, welcome back to Learning with Haneen. In today's video, we're going to be finishing up part 1 of the June 2024 Algebra 2 Regents. We're going to pick up from question 13 all the way to question 24 of the multiple choice section. With that being said, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to comment down below which areas of the curriculum are you struggling with so I can make sure to post videos right in time before the August 2024 Algebra 2 Regents. So let's get started. Question 13 says, which expression is equivalent to 2xy squared to the cube root of x squared y? So there's a couple of rules that I want to remind you of. There's a rule that says x a over b is equal to, b root xa. So whatever our denominator, it becomes our root, and our numerator becomes the exponent. So if we focus on this part right here of our expression, cube root of x squared y, and we want to rewrite that, we're going to rewrite it as x 2/3, y 1/3. Okay, so then we're going to have 2xy squared, x 2/3, y 1/3. Now, we are multiplying things together, and we have common terms. We have y squared and y to the third, and we have x and x to the 2/3. So we're going to combine those together by doing x is going to be times x 2/3, and we have y squared times y to the 1/3. When we multiply exponents, we add the powers. So here, this x has a power of 1 over 1. So to add them, we need common denominators. So the x to the 1 becomes x to the 3 over 3, and that plus x 2/3 is x 5/3. Because when we multiply them, we add the exponents. For the y squared times y to the 1/3, y squared times y to the 1/3 becomes y to the 6 over 3 times y to the 1/3 y 6 over 3 times y 1/3. So when we add the exponents together, we get 7/3. And so we write this as 2x 5/3 y 7/3, and that matches answer choice number 1, which is the answer to question 13. Question 14 says, which statements must be true about the polynomial function k of x equals negative 2x cubed minus 11x squared minus 12x plus 9? Statement 1 says x minus 3 is a factor of k of x, k0 equals 9, and then number 3 says k of x divided by x plus 2 has a remainder of 5. So the ones that I want to test first are 2 and 3. Why, you may ask? Because they're the easiest ones to think of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my calculator, and in my calculator, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stow 0 for x. So 0 stow x. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my polynomial function. So negative 2x cubed minus 11x squared minus 12x plus 9, and I get my answer to be 9. So that means that statement 2 is true. So I can there's nothing for me to cross out because they all include statement 2. Statement 3, you don't have to do the long division for this. What you want to do is you want to find the x value of x plus 2. So we set this equal to 0, and we get x equals negative 2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stow in negative 2 for x. So negative 2 stow x. And I'm going to rewrite my polynomial function. And I'm going to get an answer of 5. That means that this statement is also true. So I can eliminate answer choice 1 and 2. Now to test answer choice 3. Answer choice 1. Testing answer choice 1, it says x minus 3 is a factor of k of x. So in this case, what we can do is we can again set x minus 3 equal to 0. So we can add the 3 on both sides, and we'll plug in x equals 3. So we're going to do 3 stow x, and we're going to rewrite our polynomial function. And we're going to get a remainder of negative 180. And that means, because we have a remainder, it means that x minus 3 is not a factor, and therefore our answer choice is answer choice number 3. You could also do this by using the long division, but you also want to save time. Because here we said k of x divided by x plus 2 has a remainder of 5. So I just use that to my advantage. Well, they're telling me x minus 3 is a factor of k of x. If something is a factor, I'm going to end up getting 0. And when I plugged in x equal to 3, I didn't get a remainder of 0, and therefore it's not a factor. Question 15. To prepare for lacrosse tryouts, Cole is increasing the amount of time he spends at the gym. This week, he is spending 150 minutes there, and he plans to increase the amount by 2% each week. The amount of time in minutes that he plans to spend at the gym t weeks from now is given by the function a of t equals 150 times 1.02 to the t power. In terms of a daily growth rate, the amount of time Cole is planning to spend at the gym can best be modeled by the function. And then we have answer choices. So, first things first, what we want to do is, we know that our rate is going to change. Why is our rate going to change? Because we had it 2% each week. Now, it's being changed to a daily growth rate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 2%, and I'm going to divide it by 7 because there's 7 days in a week. And I'm going to get an answer of 0.00286. Okay? And so from there, I can eliminate answer choice 1 and 2, because here we have 0.00283. Here we have 0.14869. This is not equal to the same thing that we got. We're going to be using either 3 or 4. Now, to find out which exponents are we using. Are we going to do t divided by 7, or are we doing 7 times t? Well, we know t is the number of weeks. And now it's a term of daily growth rate. We know that there is 7 days in a week. So if I did t divided by 7, I'm not going to get the accurate number of days. Because, for example, I have 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks translates to what? 14 days. And if I'm changing my equation to represent a daily growth rate, I'm going to have to get 14 days. If I plug in 2 for t in equation number 3, I'm going to get 2/7. That is not representative of 14 days. But if I plug it in into equation number 4, I'm going to get 14 days. And therefore, answer choice 4 is our answer. So that is question 13, 14, and 15. Question 16. This one is a probability question. Okay. Mr. Zachary posts review assignments on the Beta Math website for his students. On his last test, 49% of his students used beta math and passed. Overall, 68% of his students used beta math. Approximately, what percentage of Mr. Zachary's students passed, given that they used beta math? So, when we see given, we know that it is going to be a conditional probability. And to remind you, the formula of a conditional probability is P of A happening given B equals the probability of A and B happening divided by the probability of B. That's our conditional probability formula. Now here it says, on his last test, 49% of his students used beta math and passed. Overall, 68% of his students used beta math. And we're asking, what is the percentage of students who passed, the probability that they passed, given that they used beta math? And so that is going to equal the probability of passing and using beta math over the probability of just using beta math. And so when we plug in our values, we're going to get 49% divided by 68%, which is going to give us 72% approximately, because we end up getting 0.72058, and so approximately that is 72%. Answer choice 4. So this is a conditional probability question. Remember, when you see the word given, it is a clue that you're going to do a conditional probability, and it's always that the condition is the given. So given that they used beta math, what is the probability that they passed? Whatever your given is, that is your condition. That is what you're basing your answer on. Question number 17. Given sine theta equals 7 divided by 25 and theta terminates in quadrant 2, what is the value of tan theta? So, what we're going to do is, let's remember our unit circle. So when we have our unit circle, we're going to create a unit circle. Here's quadrant 1, here's quadrant 2, here's quadrant 3, and here's quadrant 4. In quadrant 1, we have cosine and sine. Our cosine is x, our sine is y. Here, cosine is positive, sine is positive. Quadrant 2, our cosine is negative, and our sine is positive. In quadrant 3, our cosine is negative, and our sine is negative. Quadrant 4, our cosine is positive and our sine is negative. So we have that sine theta in quadrant 3. So I'm going to draw a triangle. I'm going to do it in a different color. So we're going to draw our triangle, our right triangle. It says that sine theta, so the opposite over the hypotenuse, is 7 over 25. So our opposite side, which is this side right here, is 7. And our hypotenuse, which is this side right here, is 25. And we're trying to find tan theta. And so to find tan we know is the opposite over the adjacent. We don't have our adjacent. So to find our adjacent, what we're going to do is we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, which says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So our a squared, we're going to put in 7 squared. B squared is unknown. And c squared is 25 squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 49 plus b squared equals 625. Subtract the 49 on both sides. We get b squared equals 576. Square root on both sides, b equals 24. So it's a 7, 24, 25 right triangle. Now, remember our locations. In quadrant 2, our cosine is negative. So it's going to be a negative 24. So when we write our tangents, it's going to be opposite is 7 over negative 24. Which answer choice matches this? Answer choice number 1, and that is your answer. So for this question, you needed to remember that in quadrant 2, our cosine is negative, our sine is positive. And when we do that, our adjacent side is going to be the negative. So when we wrote our tangent, which is the opposite over the adjacent, we had to do 7 divided by negative 24, and that would give us answer choice 1. Question number 18 says, a family-owned grocery store in New Hartford, New York, employs 49 people whose ages are approximately normally distributed, with a mean of 36 years old and a standard deviation of 6.2 years. Ryan has been hired to work at the store. He is 30 years old. How many people who work at this store would you expect to be younger than Ryan? So, seeing the context clues normally distributed, standard deviation, and mean, I know I'm going to be working with my normal CDF. Why am I working with my normal CDF, Haneen? Because they tell us that they want how many people who work at the store would you expect to be younger than Ryan. So if they're younger than Ryan, then if I go onto my calculator, I'm going to be writing normal CDF, because if this was a written question, you have to show your work. Normal CDF, we want younger than Ryan. So we're going to put negative 10,000, 30, because that's our max. This is our min, or our lower bound, upper bound. I'm going to show you this on the calculator. We're going to do 36 is our mean, and our standard deviation of 6.2 into our calculator. So when we put this in our calculator, we do second vars, normal CDF, which is 2. We're going to put in negative 1,000, 30, 36, 6.2, and we're going to hit enter. We're going to get 0.1665866. Now, the question is asking us to do what? How many people? We know that his family-owned grocery store employs 49. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this probability and we're going to multiply that by 49. When we multiply that by 49, we get 8.16274. And that means that approximately 8 people who work at the store are younger than Ryan, which is answer choice number 4. Question 19. For the function d of x equals the cube root x plus 2, the inverse function d to the negative 1x equals. So when we have inverse functions, what we're trying to do is we're going to try rewriting y in terms of x. So what that means is we flip the positions of y and x. So right here we have y equals cube root of x plus 2. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get what? We're trying to get x by itself. X by itself means that we're going to have a y plus something, or divided by something equals x, and we'll have an inverse. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to cube root on both sides. We're going to cube it on both sides. So we have y cubed equals x plus 2, because the cubing it cancels out the cube root. And then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract by 2 on both sides. When we do that, we get y cubed minus 2 equals x. Now, which answer choice best matches this? Answer choice number 4, which is going to be our answer. Because now it's going to be inverse. Because now I have y equals x. Y in terms of x. No, x in terms of y. X in terms of y. Because I'm trying to do the inverse. Question number 20. Given f of x equals x to the 4th plus x cubed minus 3x squared plus 9x minus 108, and f of 3 equals 0, which values satisfy f of x equals 0? So, what we're going to do is This, you're going to use your calculator. So what you're going to do is on your calculator, you're going to go to y equals, and you're going to type in your function. So x to the fourth plus x cubed minus 3x squared plus 9x minus 108, and you're going to graph it. After it graphs, what you're going to do is you're going to go to second window where you have your table set up. It's going to say independent auto, dependent auto. What I want you to do is independent, I want you to go to ask. Dependent, leave it the same. Then you're going to go second graph. What you're going to do here is I'm going to type in my x values. I'm going to put in what I see in my answer choices. The one with the eyes, leave it for now. Ignore the I for now, right? So I'm going to plug in -4, one of my values, 3, and -3 and 4. Now, this is what my table shows. -4 is 0, 3 is 0, -3 is -108, and 4 is 200. I'm trying to find the values that satisfy f of x equals 0. So I can eliminate -3 and 4. So any answer choice that has that, I'm going to eliminate answer choice 4 and answer choice 2. Now I need to find the distinguishing factor between 1 and 3. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to use your calculator for I. So what you're going to do is in your calculator, you're going to do 3i to the fourth plus 3i cubed minus 3i squared plus 9 times 3i minus 108. And we're going to get 0. So we know that checks off. And that means that is going to be our answer choice. Okay? So what I did first is you could also have done the same thing that we did for I for the other values, -4, -3, 4, and 3. It's just a little bit quicker because you type in the equation once into y equals, you go to your table, you change it so that they're asking you for the x values, and then from there you can find whether that y is going to be 0 or not. For I, you just plug that into your calculator. If you have any questions on this specific question, please write question 20 and write in your question. I try to make sure I'm always checking because I know test is approaching really soon, so I want to help you guys as much as possible. We're almost done. So, question 21. The profit function P of x is found by subtracting the cost function C of x from the revenue function Rx. Which function below represents the cost function given P equals -15x squared plus 600x plus 60 and R of x equals -0.4x squared plus 130x plus 1200. So we recall that it says that the profit function, so P of x, is found by subtracting the cost from the revenue. So Rx minus C of x. And what they're trying to find is they're trying to find the cost. So to find the cost, I'm going to subtract the Rx. I have P of x minus R of x equals -C of x. And then I have to divide by -1 to get P of x minus R of x divided by -1 equals C of x. Haneen, is this helpful? Yes, because now I know what I'm plugging in to find C of x. I know that I have to do P of x is equal to -15x squared plus 600x plus 60. R of x equals -0.4x squared plus 130x plus 1200. what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug that straight into my equation. So negative 15x squared plus 600x plus 60 minus, and look, I'm putting parentheses, negative 0.4x squared plus 130x plus 1,200. I'm going to distribute my negative sign. Don't forget to do that. So, negative 15x squared plus 600x plus 60 plus 0.4x squared minus 130x minus 1200. When I simplify that, I'm going to get negative 14.6x squared plus 470x minus 1140. And then I recall that I have to divide by negative 1. So when I divide by negative 1, I get 14.6x squared minus 470x plus 1140 equals C of x, my cost. Which answer choice matches with that? Answer choice 3. That is how you solve this question. So this question is about rewriting again. And it's about making sure that you're organized. You don't want to jump into straight to the numbers because the numbers can get confusing. You're like, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. How am I going to find the cost when they only give me the profit and the revenue? Well, looking back, they give you information. They tell you that you get the profit by subtracting the cost from the revenue. And now they give me the revenue and the profits. Well, I can work backwards and I can rewrite them and get the value of the cost. Okay? Now, question 22. What is the remainder when 4x cubed minus 3x plus 3 is divided by x minus 2? This question, when I'm dividing, I like using long division, but you can use any method that you like. Okay, so you can do long division, but you can also do in your calculator. So I'm going to do the long division first, and then we're going to plug it into our calculator. So x minus 2 divide 4x cubed minus 3x plus 3. So what times x minus 2 is going to give us 4x cubed? Well, we could do 4x squared. So 4x squared times x is 4x cubed. And then 4x squared times negative 2 is going to be negative 8x squared. This cancels out. We don't have a common term to a like term to combine with negative 8x squared. So we know that negative and negative make it positive. So 8x squared minus 3x plus 3. Now, what times x is going to give me 8x squared? Well, I'm going to add x, 8x. So 8x squared minus 16x. These cancel out. 2 negative make a positive, so negative 3x plus 16. X is going to give us 13x plus 3. And then, what times 13x is going to give me? What times x is going to give me 13x? Well, that is going to be 13. And then we subtract, so 13x, and then 13 times negative 2 is negative 26. These cancel out. Negative and negative is a positive, so 3 plus 26 is 29. Our remainder is 29. Now, this is long division. Now, if you want to save time and do it on your calculator, that is absolutely fine. What you're going to do is on your calculator, you're going to x minus 2, set it equal to 0. So add 2 on both sides, x equals 2. I'm going to stow 2 in for x. And I'm going to write my function again. So 4x cubed minus 3x plus 3. Again, I get a value of 29, and I know that is my remainder. So this saves time. But it's also good to know the foundation of the concept itself. Question number 23. 23 says the parabola with the equation 12y plus 1 equals x minus 4 squared has whether it's talking about vertex, focus, directress, or is forming units between the focus and the vertex. So, before we start, we need to remember that the focus equals h, k plus p. So the value of the vertex, which is hk, when we add p to k, we get our focus. Our directress equals y equals k minus p. And our p is 1/4 p equals a. So we're given this equation, 12y plus 1 equals x minus 4 squared. Let's make this into vertex form so it's easier to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 12 on both sides. So I'm going to get y plus 1 equals 1/12 x minus 4 squared. And then subtract 1 on both sides and get y equals 1/12 x minus 4 squared minus 1. My vertex is 4, -1. Now I want to find my focus. We know the focus is hk plus p. Well, what is my p? We remember that 1/4 p equals a. So if my a is 1/12, what times 4 is going to give me 12? Well, 3. So my p equals 3. So we're doing 4, -1 plus 3. That should be our focus, which is going to be 4, 2 is our focus. Now for our directress. Look at how I'm just keep going and I'm not looking at the answer choices right now. Y equals k minus p. Our k is -1 and our p is 3, which equals y equals -4. Now let's look at our answer choices. A vertex that's 4, 2, wrong. Our vertex is at what? 4, -1. A focus at 4, -1, wrong. Our focus is at 4, 2. Look, they flipped the vertex and the focus. A directress at y equals -4, yes. That is going to be our answer. So for 23, answer choice 3. Question number 24 says, Jay is training for a bike race over 15 weeks. At the end of the first week, he has ridden 10 miles, and he's planning to increase his weekly distance by 9% each week. Approximately how many miles total will he have ridden from the beginning of his training to the end of the 15th week? So we can see that first day, 10 miles. The next day, he's going to do those 10 miles plus 10 times 1.09 because he's adding, he's doing more. The third day, he's going to do the same thing, but adding the 10. So he's going to keep doing that continuously for the 15th week. And in short terms, we're going to do the summation formula. And on our reference table, our summation formula is equal to A1 minus A1 times Rn over 1 minus R. So I'm plugging in 10 minus 10 times 1.09 to the 15th over 1 minus 1.09. So our R is 0.09, but we're adding 1 because we're increasing those. And A1 is 10, and our N is 15 because that's the desired number of weeks. So when we plug this into our calculator, we get an answer of 293.609. That aligns with answer choice number 4, and that would be the last question of the multiple choice section. So this is what I'm going to end the video off on today. If you have any questions, please comment down them in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to check as swiftly as possible. And stay tuned for parts 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4 of the written parts, and which should be in one whole video. If not, they should be in 2. And if you have any questions, please comment down below. Share with all your friends who are studying for the Algebra 2 Regents or who are taking it next year. Have a good day. Bye.